Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. You know who it is. It's your favorite bearded duelist, Mr. Omar. And I got a special guest on the track, a new beginner into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And what to expect. So I'm going to allow him to introduce himself.
What's up, you guys? My name is Ki, and I just started dueling recently this year. I used to play back in I want to say 2006, 2007. I was only about 8 years old when I first started playing Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm restarting over again in this new era of dueling. And well, I'll let you take it from here, MJ, and you explain.
All right. Well, with that being said, we introducing new era of new players. He's not a stranger to the game, but he's a novice. So on this journey, on this vlog, we're going to talk about introducing the new player base into Yu-Gi-Oh! What kind of decks will we bring to the table for beginners? New strategies for not really a hardcore competitive, but just for a beginner. So we got a couple of special decks for a beginner in this 2024 meta that's going to be relevant to the game. And I wanted to let people know this is the state of the game. We have people coming in, picking up decks, and we also have people that are leaving the game. And I see something in Konami that needs to be changed. Now, I'm a veteran. I've been playing this game since 2001. It's definitely been a beautiful thing, a lovely thing, through good formats, toxic formats. And we all see the change. As you can see that we're in a different space, want to take something different and go a different route with the channel. And I feel this topic of new player base is necessary for the game. So I just want to allow me and Ki to come on the track and introduce a different thing. Now we got some key topics we're going to talk about in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! New player base. If you're a new player base coming into Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's a couple of things you want to think about. First of all, in category one, we're going to talk about doing the work. Now, what you probably think when I say doing the work is in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, you have supplies. So, first thing you want to start off with is your deck sleeves. Then you want to start off with your playmat. Then you want to also start off with your apps. Now, we have a variety of apps that's dueling calculators, modifiers, amplifiers, anything that involves the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! To make you playing the viewer base competitive or just novice. Now I'm gonna get Ki back on the track and let him speak and add your insight of what you think you want from the game of Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'll say, especially in new meta, I would prefer more player friendly rules, if that makes more sense, because nowadays you can get one shot in a single turn. I would like more traditional, like how it was when I first started playing, where it's more back and forth. And I ain't gonna lie, like the first time I played Yu-Gi-Oh, I learned how to play from watching the show, which everybody knows is not how you play. But at the end of the day, I like a little bit more banter in the game, if that makes sense, instead of just, straightforward competitiveness. That makes sense. Overall, I like to go to a couple tournaments, win a couple prizes. Hopefully, the prizes are getting better and the tournaments are more easy to access, and they set them at a certain skill level. I like for tournaments to be set off a skill level. But other than that, I'm just excited to be here and excited to play again in a long time.
Now, as we take this journey of the new player base and introducing a new player into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, you don't want to throw a new beginner into the frying pan. As I like to take this step is to gradually give them levels. In each level, you want to start off in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the main thing is you want to start them off with a deck, something that's easy to learn, not very combo centric. Now I have a few decks that's been on the radar when it comes to decks and being competitive. Now right now, KI is running, you know what? He's running Spriggans. Now Spriggans is a very budget-friendly deck. You can get all the pieces for under $20. Majority of the deck are commons, and you have a few hollow fulls. Now we're going to go through and analyze just not the most expensive or rare cards, but to allow a new player base for a new player to come in, get adjusted to the rulings, get adjusted to the draw phase, the standby phase, the main phase, the battle phase, main phase 2, and also the end phase. My thing is when you introduce a new player, you don't want to complicate things with a bunch of over eccentric, just all out over summoning. We want to slow the game down a bit so that your new player base is not run off by a Snake Eyes, a Tenpai Dragon, a U-Bell deck, or somebody that's just coming into the game. So as we take this vlog, we're going to slow the pace down. We're going to bring in some new ways of introducing a new player base that won't run them off. Because I can go from experience. I had two very important people that I was cool with play the game and just ultimately leave it. Why? Because of overpowered decks that just made the game toxic. Now we're in a balanced format where most decks have been checked. And that's a beautiful thing, a lovely thing. Now I'm going to hand it back over to KI. And from a new player perspective, he's going to give his insight for his game style, gameplay. What you have to say?
All right, so just to reiterate on what I said earlier, so gameplay has changed a lot over the years. So nowadays, like I said, you can literally get one shot at if you pick going first and they go second, you can get a whole one shot. I just played a game earlier. Uh, what was the deck I was playing against? Tempo Dragons. Yeah, I was playing against Tempo Dragons, and boy, 3 summons on the field. I got one summon off. One summon off, played one field card. As soon as he started the game, negate, bounced back to my hand, sent to the graveyard, one shot KO, 3K, 3K, then 25, and the game was pretty much over with. So, with that being said, the pace of the game has definitely improved as far as speed. And like he said, these summons that they have nowadays and going into your extra deck and being able to just fish throughout your deck nowadays just it's crazy. It's really crazy just seeing how the game has evolved and coming back as a beginner now. It's a little bit hectic, but I will say it's still fun all all or nonetheless.
Oh, those are very key components from KI. Now we're going to do this weekly vlog of from beginner to novice to competitive. We got a few decks that we're going to introduce for us beginners that doesn't break the bank. Now, what I'm looking for when I say it doesn't break the bank, we are definitely looking for a price. The typical competitive Yu-Gi-Oh deck is at least, and let me repeat this, is at least over probably $150 to $200 in price value. $100 and $80 cards. For a new player, I recommend structure decks, budget friendly decks. Now, competitive structure decks, I have to say, over the last few months, we have had branded. You buy 3 copies of this deck for $10, maybe 12 with tax, and you spend about 40 to 55, sometimes 60 depend on your fancy, and just run with a structured deck. Now, will this make you ultimately win tournaments? Not exactly, because it takes skill, it takes strategy, and it also takes a good pilot. In this segment, we're going to talk about being a pilot. Now, I'm going to teach KI the basics, the basic rundown. When you have the normal summon, you have the set, you have the special summon, you have the extra deck summon. So those are different categories that we're going to take one by one by one. Because when you have a beginner like KI, you don't want to just throw them into the frying pan and just push them into oblivion and sometimes expect them to swim. We're not going to do that. So I got a few recommendations when it comes to beginners. They're easy combo off and easy to just start off for a beginner. So with further ado, I'm gonna hand the mic back to KI. Favorite deck that I've been a profile on, which we have, is Ancient Warriors. Now, this semi-competitive deck, but it's great for beginners. This deck will run you at least, I have to say, $40 to $45. This is a warrior base, beast warrior base deck. It has seeds, no synchros, and the ability to one-turn kill your opponent with powerful attacks, great boosting, and changing triggers. And that's just one of them. Now, I'm going to say the next thing I want to bring out is one of my favorites, but I'll say this deck is for the novice. We have the Six Samurai. We're going to give me support for this deck. This deck is going to become powerful for the novice. Now, if you want to go competitive play, budget friendly, which we all talked about, you can't go wrong with this deck. And that's in recent profiles, I've taken this deck first place. This deck has been checked by the ban list. When I tell you this deck can steamroll at OTK for your competitive play that's budget friendly, you have 10 Dragons. Now, with these three decks, including Spriggans, we're going to start off with KI. We're going to run the Spriggans. We're going to do at least 2 weeks spending time with the deck, learning the combos, learn the choke points of the deck, and being an effective teacher and bringing in new students, new beginners for the Yu-Gi-Oh meta, like KI. KI, I want you to speak on the track when you talk about the Spriggans.
All right, so Spriggans for me is like you said, it's a pretty cost friendly deck. I'll say the easiest part is once you learn your combinations, once you get learn how to get your combinations off, you can have a very quick learning curve once you learn all your combinations, and really once you just figure out how to use your field spell and uh, use your field spell, learn how to use your negates from other cards in your extra deck. And once you, like I said, once you get a grasp of the concept and how to use the cards, you can basically unlimited summon monsters to your field after every single turn. Even if you get destroyed, you can bounce cards back to your opponent's hand or just destroy it. And I'll say it was relatively easy for me to learn how to use this deck. It probably took me about 2 weeks. And during that 2 weeks time, probably 3 days out of the week, I'm playing online and I got a pretty good grip on it. So I say it's a pretty beginner friendly deck and pretty cost effective.
Yes. Now, with that being said, this is your favorite bearded duelist. I thank you for coming in. We talk about this vlog on introducing new players into Yu-Gi-Oh. What to expect. We're going to have more content bi-weekly on this matter. As you say, I really appreciate you guys for coming in, checking the blog with your boy, Mr. Omar and KI. We just want to tell you we're thankful that you came in onto the channel. Now, before we conclude this video, I want you to like, I want you to share, I want you to hit that notification button. We're going to keep growing. So, further notice, I want you guys to be blessed. Have a great day. Peace. Be easy. Take it easy.